The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. My name is Andy MacNeil. I am your host. I'm here on weekdays to provide NHL projections, betting advice, and strategies. Had a great conversation with Stephen Wino from the Associated Press on Tuesday talking about the NHL trade deadline. You can go check out that conversation after this video, but he was bang on about one thing, and that was Anthony Mantha was indeed dealt to the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but just 3 games on the docket for Wednesday, March 6th. And this show is sponsored by NorthStar Bets. So we'll be using NorthStar Bets odds on this show. We're going to be jumping into Thursday's games right away because I don't have a lot of stuff to talk about for Wednesday's slate. But yeah, we'll pull up the projections really quick here and talk about the Ottawa Senators. My model suggests betting on the Senators. But I mean, just with 25% of the season, less than 25% of the season to go, I think I can live without laying road chalk on the Sens here. Not sure about the status of Mason McTavish, Leo Carlson for the Ducks. Those are two big pieces that could really swing things for Anaheim. Of course, the Ducks have not been a good home bet this season. They've been a lot better on the road as underdogs. They've actually been profitable. Whereas at home, they've pretty much been a break-even bet. But the Sens, we know that they have not performed well in these spots, at least related to the betting lines. So also Trevor Zegras is nearing a return, so we got to consider that as well. So Anaheim's lineup could look, very different than it does right now, and I'm just not willing to lay a big price on the Sens. They are currently minus 155 at NorthStar Bets. Other than that, I think I would have liked to bet the Red Wings here. In fact, I know I would have liked to bet the Red Wings, assuming the prices were somewhat similar, but not for the injury to Dylan Larkin that has kind of swayed things quite a bit. Detroit has had 3 days off heading into this one. They might be able to get the jump on the Avs still, but I think Colorado is overrated. But I'm not going to take any chances here unless they creep up north of plus 180 on the money line. And finally, we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs hosting the Buffalo Sabres. We know Ilya Samsonov's going to get the start in this one. Would assume that Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen will be in goal for the Sabres, but this one's priced right according to my model. It says the Maple Leafs should be priced at a minus 170 price point. Anyway, Toronto is in action again on Thursday against the Boston Bruins. Would assume that Joseph Wall will get the start for that one. But yeah, let's move on to Thursday's games because big news out of Vegas. As I said, the Golden Knights acquired Anthony Mantha from the Washington Capitals on Tuesday evening for a pair of draft picks. Mantha is having his best season to date since 2019-20, tallying 20 goals and 14 assists in 56 games. So the Golden Knights are in action on Thursday against the Vancouver Canucks, but the model pretty much says this one is more or less right, with Vegas opening up at minus 118. The Canucks have been very beatable as of late, but so has VGK. Jack Eichel is back. Adding Mantha should fill some of the void left behind by Mark Stone. But only the Coyotes, Sharks, and Ducks have allowed more goals than Vegas has over the past month, and they've lost 8 of 10. So going to be a tough road back to the top of the NHL for the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll see how they perform the rest of the way, but yeah, I don't see any value laying minus 118 with the Vegas Golden Knights in this spot. A game I do see a lot of value in, though, is the Minnesota Wild at the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Matt Zuccarello did not play due to personal reasons, apparently, on Sunday, but the Wild will have had 3 days off heading into Thursday's matchup with the Coyotes, so I would suspect his availability to be trending more in the probable direction. Regardless, I don't think this line makes a whole lot of sense. Minnesota minus 125 versus Arizona on the road. I don't think so. The Wild are the 4th best team by expected goals over the last 30 days. The Coyotes can barely buy a win. Arizona, they have been playing okay at 5-on-5, but in all situations, they still grade out as a bottom 10 team. And the Coyotes are in the midst of a really tough schedule stretch as well, too, because tomorrow they're going to play their 6th game in 9 nights. Luckily, they'll be facing off the Red Wings on the second half of a back-to-back, but a tough stretch nonetheless, and maybe one that doesn't really show itself as the Coyotes have had a day off heading into this one, but they're probably pretty bagged out just getting home after that long road stretch. And I like Minnesota a lot here at minus 125. Just going to stick with the 1 unit play because of the uncertainty with Matt Zuccarello. But yeah, locking the Wild in at minus 125. In fact, I'll do that right now because I didn't track it. So yeah, locking the Wild in at minus 125 to win 1.25 units on the money line. Looking for them to get a win over the Arizona Coyotes. Another bet that I like here is probably going to be a little bit tough for some people to stomach. But I mean, given the situation, given the team that we're talking about, I think this price is really short. This will be the Blue Jackets' sixth game in 9 days, and I think the opening odds, like I said, really short here. Edmonton should be priced closer to minus 250, regardless of who is in goal. I'm guessing it might be Calvin Pickard, but I'm okay with that at this spot. Big edge. And I'm just going to lay the minus 213 odds here at NorthStar Bets because I think while it would be nice to consider betting the regulation odds or the puck line odds, I'm sure I would have an edge if those were available. I don't think that this one's going to stick around for very long, and those markets probably won't be very attractive to me when by the time they do open. So I think minus 213 odds. We're talking about nearly a 40% edge here, a 40%, sorry, 40 cent edge here on the Oilers, and yeah, I mean I'm gonna lock this in. Like I said, might be a little bit too tough to stomach for some of you. I know. A lot of people can't believe that some people are out there that are willing to lay minus 200 on a hockey game because this sport is so random. But the Edmonton Oilers are in a spot where they should crush the Blue Jackets, and this line offers a lot of value. Speaking of crushing, the Florida Panthers continue to crush. They are one of the most profitable bets in the NHL. Added to that total on Tuesday with a win over the Devils in Travis Green's first game as the, I guess, interim head coach of the New Jersey Devils after Lindy Ruff was fired. So, if I'm not mistaken, that is the first time that a team has lost this season in their first game under a new coach. As far as the in-season coaching changes go, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But I believe they are the first to suffer a loss in their first game under a new bench boss. But yeah, the Panthers, they continue to roll. They'll be in action on Thursday against the Flyers. And news here this morning saying Travis Konechny, the Flyers' leading scorer, and I think the engine of that team, is skating in a regular jersey for the first time since he was injured. He's missed the last 6 games, and they need him back because they've got a tough stretch of hockey coming up. They've got a 4 point lead over the Islanders in the Eastern Conference playoff race, but I think things could, there's a possibility things could flip here over the next week or so. My model still likes the Flyers to make the playoffs ahead of the Islanders. The Islanders have worse playoff chances right now than the Flyers do, but that could change. Like I said, it's all conditional on the Flyers winning some games here and the Islanders not just cleaning up, and they very well could because they have a somewhat easy stretch of games. They're up against the Sharks. Talk about that right away, but with Jamie Drysdale and Nick Seeler, a player that's been rumored to be on the trade block. He's currently on injured reserve, being added to IR this morning. So, yeah, not sure what the Flyers are going to do heading into the deadline here. Will they throw in the towel and cash in on the assets that they have, move for the future, right? But they're in a playoff spot right now. I would suspect they want to hold on to it. But yeah, I mean, I think if there's an opportunity to move some of these guys out, they will possibly, and that could really just shred their depth down to basically nothing because this is a deep team, but they are thin on in the talent department, and getting Konechny back would certainly help. But yeah, tough test versus the Panthers on Thursday. My model says the Florida Panthers should be around minus 210 on the money line, and that's what we're seeing out here right now. Speaking of the Islanders, though, they are in action against San Jose on Thursday, and the Sharks, they're already a bottom feeder. They have lost William Eklund, may have lost William Eklund to injury. He needed help getting off the ice in Tuesday's 7-6 loss to the Stars. A couple wild games against Dallas, both going to overtime. The Stars were like a minus 650 favorite when they were on home ice. So yeah, keeping it close. The Sharks are, but they're already pretty thin down the middle. Plus, Mackenzie Blackwood, their starting goaltender, will be out for at least another week or so. Says he won't be back for a week or so. So yeah, that's a tough spot to be in for the Sharks. And my model gives the Islanders a 69.9% chance of winning on Thursday, which means they should be priced at minus 232. So assuming the Flyers lose to the Panthers, as it will probably be the case, and the Islanders beat the Sharks, which will probably be the case, we could see big shift in the playoff odds after Thursday. So no new coach bump, as I said, for the Devils. They lost 5-3 to the Panthers on Tuesday. Florida played the night before. They started their backup goaltender. Wasn't as sweat free as I would have liked, but a winner and another unit added to the bankroll. I wouldn't bet against the Devils here, at least not at the opening odds. My model says they should be priced around minus 135. They're coming out quite a bit higher, and that means I wouldn't bet on them at the current odds either. And who knows what the Capitals might still have up their sleeve. They traded Anthony Mantha, as mentioned, but he could just be the first of several players to be dealt by the Capitals at the trade deadline. And I think that makes Washington a pretty volatile team from a betting perspective. Same thing goes for the Penguins. They'll be in Washington on Thursday, and rumors are that the Pens are listening on everybody not inside their core. So players not named Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Eric Carlson, Chris Letang. They're listening on guys like Ricard Raquel, Riley Smith, Marcus Pettersson. So who really knows what this lineup for this game for both teams will look like a day before the deadline? A lot could happen. So it seems like a good game to take a wait and see approach. And I'm going to do just that. But finally, let's talk about the rematch between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, because despite what we saw on Monday, I don't think the Bruins are 4-1 better than the Maple Leafs. These teams are a lot closer. And this is a tough spot for Boston. Third game in 4 nights. Of course, they played back-to-back against Toronto and Edmonton, now playing Toronto again. Screw you, NHL schedule makers, from one Bruins fan to you. This is I can't believe they did this, to be honest. Like 3 games in 4 nights against Toronto, Edmonton, and Toronto. That's a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. But yeah, I don't know. Seems highly unlikely that people are going to find value betting on the Boston Bruins here. Yeah, the Maple Leafs will be playing back to back, but like I said, third game in 4 nights for Boston. They'll be tired, and yeah, minus 143 opening odds at NorthStar Bets. I make this game minus 122 in favor of the Boston Bruins. So yeah, not close to betting on Toronto, or a lot closer to betting on Toronto than I am Boston. But I think in order for that to happen, or I know in order for that to happen, people are going to have to see some value in betting the Boston Bruins in order to drive those odds up. I don't think that's going to happen, right? Who's going to look at Boston and say, minus 143, lovely? Not me, but I would suspect other sports books will maybe open up with odds closer to my model. We'll see if that's the case. So 2 bets locked in for Thursday. Nothing right now for Wednesday, and I doubt that will change. But yeah, 2 bets locked in. I've got the Minnesota Wild locked in at minus 125 on the money line. That is a 1.25 unit play to win 1.25 units. So risking about 1.56 and change. And then I've got the Oilers at minus 213. Of course, also available at NorthStar Bets, risking 2.13 units to win 1 unit. I know, like I said, that might be a little bit difficult to stomach, but yeah, it's a good price, and I'm all about good prices. So good luck with your bets. I will see you on Thursday. We will catch up on Thursday's NHL games. Look ahead to Friday, and of course, we're gonna have a special live stream on Friday. We'll have Nick, uh, Martin from the Action Network Line Change podcast, and hopefully Michael Leboff from the Line Change podcast as well. Maybe another guest. We'll see what we can do, but we're going to be live talking trade deadline, looking ahead to Saturday's NHL odds. So keep it locked here to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you have not already, and we will see you Thursday.